Hello, ladies and gentlemen, witches and wizards, fans of all ages. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome to Nom Watch Review, part of the Nom Talk network. On this show, we review the latest film drop or throwback celebrating a milestone while eating and drinking our favorite movie snacks and drinks. I'm your host, Alejandro Cowie. Today, I'm going to shamelessly promote some Del Taco. Got a little Dr. Pepper there, a little mixture of my two halves because I'm Scottish, so I have little French fries here. And then I was going to say Mexican and bowl a burrito, but I forgot that I pulled out a burger, so that's totally defeats the purpose. So the double still tastes delicious. Now I'm going to introduce the other three amazing guests we have. You probably see some faces from previous shows. I want to introduce Waiya, my friend. Tell us what you're having with us today.
What's up, everybody? I'm drinking green drink, keeping it old school, and I made a very nice spicy curry based around miso, chicken, and Brussels sprouts. So,
do you just whoop that out? You're like,
yeah,
that looks delicious. That sounds delicious. Oh yeah, I kind of low key, snoop on your posts every once in a while. So my friend. All right, introduce Puma. What are you having with us today, my friend?
I had to go with the White Russian. How can you not?
Hey,
I had to.
Nice.
Excellent. And last but not least, for sure, Kenji. What are you having with us today, my friend?
Well, I really wanted that White Russian, but just if you don't have anything at home for the White Russian, it's really pricey. And I just was like, nope. And I'm gonna go with just a white mug of water. But it is in the Gatewalker Saga mug that I always drink out of. Shameless plug once again.
Hydration.
Always, hydration as is.
Hydrate, don't hydrate. Excellent.
Don't hydrate.
Important.
Now, for you folks out there that have not listened to here, hold on. Wait. I gotta say hello. Q comment section here. So Q ball. Hey everyone. Now I'm talking. How's everyone? I can't wait to get into this. I ate some chopped chicken with some ramen noodles. Oh, and melted Swiss cheese. I'm drinking some Dr. K off-brand pepper. Dude, that stuff is delicious.
Yes, Dr. K.
Professor K.
Shouts out to C's. Long time no see. Amber, love you, my friend. And Kenji,
I miss
got
you
some
guys.
rock star hair and I don't know more.
Oh, is it Q? Oh, it's Q, hey, Q, right?
Yeah, Q. Doesn't mean hey, you're still a rock star, my friend.
Is it Quentin? Is that his name? Quentin?
Quentin.
Is Dr. K
I haven't seen you in forever.
Yes, Dr. K is delicious. Q, we love to see you, my friend. Now, along with this here, we actually hear, all right, perfect. All right, so we're going to start in the beginning. To start off with here, I want to touch base with the popcorn buckets, actually, because I always keep what?
Huh? Oh, no, never mind. I'm totally good. I was about to say something, but then I forgot. We're good.
You good? Okay, no worries.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. All right, no worries. We're all right, no problem. So we're going to start off with the popcorn bucket ratings here. Waiya, my friend, what is your rating today?
Oh, 5 all day. 5 out of 5.
All day. 5 out of 5. Fantastic. I'll move over to Kenji. What is your popcorn bucket rating, my friend?
Well, this used to be at a 4.5, but you know what? I recently rewatched it with a new set of eyes, and it actually jumped up to 5 out of 5 for me.
5 out of 5.
It's a 5 out of 5. It's a perfect film.
Excellent. Puma, what are we looking at with the rating? What's your rating, my friend?
I have to give it a 5 out of 5 because it's a classic. Ooh. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It literally got me into White Russians, obviously, and it's such a fun drink. It's not something you can really order at a bar, which sucks because they never make it properly. They never have heavy cream, so it gets all weird. But yeah, it's just I quote this movie at least several times a week. It's hilarious. So it's one of my faves.
Okay. I feel a little in the trenches here because my rating is going to be 3.5 out of 5. Now, ouch. I have my reasonings and we'll go into that a little later, but that is what it is. Now, starting off with the show, we're going to go into how you guys were introduced to it, around when you remember it and so forth as well. Kenji, I want to start with you, my friend. You said this is really close to you. My question is, when did you see this? And do you remember the initial feeling and concepts when you're first introduced to the film?
Oh, well, well, when I first saw it, we go long ago in a time called 2007, when I was in my freshman year of college. I had smoked the fattest J for the first time in my entire life. And that's when we decided to watch The Big Lebowski. And obviously I've seen it since then, but that was my initial moment for it. And it was just a great moment. Something about it just really resonated with me. And it wasn't until like a recent rewatching that it actually finally figured out why it resonated so much with me. And yeah, it's just absolutely, it's been in my life for a while. It's a favorite movie of mine. It's one of my dad's favorite movies. A lot of my friends love the movie as well. And yeah, it was like at a recent rewatching where I kind of realized just how much I am like the dude. And like, I'm not saying that I'm like as lazy as he is, but like there are definitely a lot of qualities of myself that I see in the dude. And it's like, oh, that's why it's been so close to my heart all these years. So yeah, and that's
Right.
because of that revelation. It went up to the 5 out of 5 today.
Yeah, right on, right on. Boom, I'm gonna go to you, my friend. So, do you remember around what time, or you've seen the film, or your initial feelings towards it when you
I'm
first
laughing
watched it?
because I feel like most people, their first introduction to the movie, they were heavily stoned, which was also the case with me as well. I want to say it was back in like, oh gosh, 2004 or 5. I was 15. My older brother showed it to me. We smoked and then watched it because it was one of his favorite movies. And I was just like, this is like the craziest thing. Like, what? Like, I feel like I was like, if I was sober, I would be scratching my head right now. But this movie is just like fantastic. And it's like, I've watched it so many times since then. Every time I go bowling, I just think about the bowling scene and just like quote it like 1,000 different quotes. And I could probably quote the entire movie. It's like hilarious. But yeah, I fell in love with it instantly. I've watched it like at least 50 times since then. Yeah, it's just one of those goofy, so like it doesn't have, it's just one of those funny movies that you got to watch. Everybody has to watch it at least once.
Right on, right on. Excellent, excellent. Why are you, my friend? Do you remember what around what time you first were initially introduced to the film and your initial feelings?
Oh man, I guess I'm the dinosaur here because I saw this when I
I'll
was
get you guys
a
in a
senior in
second.
high school. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I was a senior in high school when this came out, and I loved it. It's one of the reasons I went to film school because it just blew me away with just the imagery and the fact that I too resonated with the Big Lebowski because I was very much a hey, let things be, kind of a vibe. So, oof.
Right
Old now,
on.
though.
You feel old. I'm gonna put this out here. So when this film first came out, oh my gosh, Jesus Christ. I think I maybe got a year or two on you now I think about it, Waiya. So I'll just let that settle a little. So when this movie first came out, I had a whole bunch of friends that were definitely 420 friendly. And initially when I actually came in, I just aware of it. I hung out with them. That was it. Now, the reason why I say this, because when I first saw this film, it was like a fever dream to me. I was sober and I was like, what the hell is going on? So initially it was about a 4 out of 5 for me. Like, when it initially came in. So there was no, I would say gripes about the initial, I keep on saying initial like 20 freaking times, but
Take a shot every time.
but when I first saw it, I thought it was not bad at all. So, I can't really complain about that per se, but let's go ahead and start off with the beginning of the film. So we are going to go in with this. I got Q here with a comment. I want to make sure we can't forget this because we are talking about ratings here. Q comes with a 5 out of 5 for him. It's one of those films that if it wasn't really that big at the box office at first, but it's a cult classic. And I love Jeff Bridges and John Goodman. It is a stoner movie or a good drinking movie. It's all the above. Great scenes and lines in it. Some parts have dry humor, but it overall a great cult classic. And it fit with the times when it came out. Right on, right on. So speaking of the beginning of the film, here we are. We have an epic prologue discussing who the dude is, going in, kind of understanding life, introducing the concepts of worries and so forth, and just introducing the dude. Let's go into the knowing the fact that dude has the name of Lebowski, but he always be referenced as the dude. We're gonna go in the beginning. He's relaxing, supposed to take things in, and all of a sudden you got two goons coming in and just smashing shit up like his initial tape deck player going on, going into his vinyl player on, and his character, as it's going, is watching this happening. The dude is just kind of analyzing this, obviously being confused of where he's at. And his initial reaction is like, hey, man, what are you doing? I mean, he's just kind of like, what are you doing? This is my place. Then he's confronted, right, with Thug A. Thug A and explains to him, says, hey, you understand when Bunny owes us money. You should know who you are. And at this moment, Jeff Bridges, the dude's looking at trying to analyze that why his place is getting semi-destroyed, who Bunny is, because frankly, he seems confused. And as he's trying to express this and getting his face smashed in also inside the toilet, we're going like I literally almost missed the whole classic introduction concept of him looking for half and half. This introduces his first concept of actually liking milk products. I totally skipped over that. I'm totally sorry. But at this point, he is dropping his grocery products head in toilet as the thug is like, hey, you know what I'm talking about.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
Exactly. Where's the money? And at this point, he is super freaking confused, still trying to figure out what's going on. And initially, with him coming his head out of the toilet, he's more pissed off that the fact that Thug B starts to pee on his carpet, not the fact that he was drowning in the toilet water, half and half cream and so forth as well. And going into the initial concept of saying, hey, I'm not who you think I am. At this point, Thug A and Thug B think, oh my God, isn't this guy supposed to be a millionaire? This guy might not be who we think about. And they take off, right? So from that point, we then also have the dude then initially going, hey, this is really, what the heck is going on? I need to figure out why my carpet is the way it is. So he just literally walks into this area, tries to discuss first he initially makes a call, right? Figures out that, hey, there's some confusion here. I'm not the Lebowski you think I am. He goes in, makes destination going in there. We are talking about an actor that I want to make a reference here because I don't want to forget this good man here. Because like obviously we had Jeff Bridges, Steve Buscemi, but the reference I'm trying to make over is going to be about his kind of like his butler.
Philip Seymour
personal
Hoffman.
aide.
Thank you. I was about to say Philip Seymour Hoffman. I mean, R.I.P. I want to talk about so much. I mean, just his moments that he has there, he just brings a lot to the film in general. Dude. So yeah. Yes. So now we have a ridiculously great conversation between the dude and Brandt discussing their confusion of the possibility of trying to figure out why he is being pursued for this money. Introducing Bunny into the mix, introducing the other Lebowski, which is just a rich dick. About the whole situation, I think he reflects a perfect form of conservatism and just, your problems are your problems. It's not my fault that I'm rich and not my fault you're poor. Doesn't want to take responsibility, anything, and thinks that money makes things disappear. That being said, we've got a lot of crazy things happening in about the first 10 minutes of the film. Kenji, I want to start with you. How is the pacing of the film? Where are we at right now? How are you feeling? We understand who the dude is, and we see this craziness he's being thrust into with confusing his last name with another. Where are you at, my friend?
Well, I first of all, I love the first of all, this is my first Coen Brothers film, so like when I saw it, it was my first Coen Brothers film, so it was like very interesting to see like their like way of filmmaking, and I actually love the pacing in the beginning. It kind of basically it's kind of classic in a way. It's kind of like a slice of history now because it's like it very distinctly says it's in the early 90s. It tells you who's the president, who was the president recently, like all that stuff. So like it's very much like a wow. Like of course for me it's also like I was actually a kid when this happened. So like so that was interesting. But I will say like I love the way that just kind of like it very quickly like kind of pulls you in. Once you get to know the dude, it quickly pulls you in with this very much a mistaken identity, with very much this dark tongue-in-cheek humor that's going on. And and I just thought, I think it's just great. And it's one of those films where like you have to show it to everybody. Like it's a great opening. It's a classic for a reason. The movie's a classic for a reason. Come on. I mean, yeah, the pacing is fantastic in the beginning. I love it. Jeff Bridges does what Jeff Bridges does with the Sam Elliott voiceover. Yeah, I love it. And yeah, it's just great.
Right on. Before I go into the next guest over here, Jeremy, TV rating in with a party of 8, saying just here to crush on Puma.
Oh, wait, who is that? Who said that?
Jeremy TV.
Oh, Jeremy. Jerome.
Yeah, we know that, Jeremy. Excellent.
I miss you, Jeremy. Oh my God, that's awesome.
We like seeing that kind of positivity.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Waiya, my friend, we are in a crazy organized version of chaos. The dude is supposedly king in this world of chaoticness. Where are we at, my friend? How are you feeling this first 10 minutes?
Ooh, It's a wonderful opening to this movie because it sets up all of our characters wonderfully. And the characters that used in this movie were almost caricatures of archetypal characters. You have the rich guy who is the richest and the most out of touch, and his trophy wife, who is a terrorweed at like 22, 23 at the time.
Yep.
And is the most trophy wife. Philip Seymour Hoffman, as you said, as the quintessential bootlicker that's in between.
Yeah.
And then you have Jeff Lebowski, the Big Lebowski, aka the dude who is supposed to be that everyman. He's kind of walking through this whole thing in kind of the fever dream you're supposed to enjoy this movie in, that nothing really makes sense to him because he just wants to have a good time and relax. He doesn't need to have money. He doesn't need to have a whole lot of friends because we learn who his friends are later on. He just wants good company and good vibes. And chef kiss.
I
love the opening.
Heck yeah. Puma, how are you feeling in this first 10 minutes of chaos?
Oh gosh, I love it because you could totally relate to the vibes that he's giving off. Like he's like, come on, man, the rug really brought the room together. You know, it's like you feel that. Like you're like, it really did. Like, and that's a nice rug, by the way. Like I would have been pissed also, but legit. But yeah, like the pacing's great. I love it. I love the cast. The cast really makes this movie. I think that's one of the reasons why I gave it 5 stars, is because it's like an all-star cast back in the 90s, you know, like when they're all kind of starting off and you're getting to know those actors themselves. But yeah, I love it. It's a great way to set everything up, and it pulls you in. It's not like it's too slow. There's not too much going on where, I mean, there kind of is, but it's not like too much where you're just like, what's going on, besides like being confused by the chaos. But yeah, it's such a fun movie. Like, I don't know, the first 10 minutes are like really gets you in. I have ADHD, so if a movie doesn't like get my attention like within the first like half hour, I'll like probably never watch the rest of it, or I'll have to like pause it and watch it again later. So it did a great job.
Right on. Before I go into the next portion here, Q, I'll kind of sorry that I'm about to go deep here, but think about this. All of us watch this journey through the eyes of Jeff Bridges' character and takes you along for finding out what really is happening to him and connecting the pieces together until the end. Definitely, it's kind of more of a kind of like a trippy, I would say, in a sense, treasure hunt, you know, to figure out where this actual where the actual ending piece goes. I definitely agree with you, Q, on that one. So here we are at this point. Jeff Bridges introduces the dude is introduced to the fellow Lebowski, which is more conservative dickhead, which all three of you mentioned before. Really added touch, place individual. You are introduced once again to Philip Seymour Hoffman Brandt, which seems that you know what? Why, you hit it on the head. He seems to be a bootlicker on both sides, because as much as he loves the world of conservative money capitalism, he seems to be admired by the dude and who he is and how his nonchalant life is. So you're right. It's kind of interesting how he seems to admire both heavy on each side. So you have this point where Brandt, and it's not really clear how this happens, other than the fact that the other Lebowski just allows this carpet to be walked out of the area, and even the dude's like, "Are you sure this is okay, man?" And then taking, they're like, "Yeah, it's fine. This is the carpet. It's okay. You won't miss it." So we then get introduced to Bunny. We see that Bunny seems to be a very, very sex positive. I want it, but give me cash more and I'll exchange you some favors kind of thing, right? So as we can see that this is happening, the dude kind of gets thrown off for it and kind of makes a joke himself that, hey, maybe I should make some financial decisions in your direction. But we see this really kind of, brief little foreplay on words. Brandt even kind of admits what's going on. You probably should kind of like back off about this whole situation. And then you are slightly introduced to one of the man myth legends himself. Let's go here to Peter Stormare as Carl Hungus is actually briefly laying into the pool drunk. And at the moment, they don't really go too in depth other than the fact that we figure that they possibly are in a relationship. So dude then gets carpet. He's happy, gets over it. He's about to actually go home, but we also find out before this whole thing happens, where you're introduced to his friends. We cannot forget his friends any way, shape, or form in the initial bowling tournament. So we got Steve Buscemi being Theodore the Donald, and then you also have John Goodman being Walter, right? Now, we see these two individuals as opposing polar opposites. See Steve Buscemi, Donald, being that, hey, everyday individual player looking at the way things are, but seems to, hey, is this supposed to happen? I don't know if this is happening. He's always questioning things in a sense, right? Always having that little, I'd say, a little bit iffy energy about him. On the other half, we have John Goodman, Walter being ridiculously outspoken. I don't want to say like, I want to say borderline paranoia in a sense.
Psychopath.
Oh yeah,
there's
not even
there's no way
borderline.
around it, right? And hitting that point, what you said, why he goes into just showing how much of a psychopath this guy does by pulling out Colt 1911, cocking it back, and pointing at an opposing teammate.
Stony.
Just because he's Stony. Yes, thank you. Such a freaking great name.
Gives a shit about the rules. Fucking zero.
This is not Nom.
There, literally clack clack clack, and literally puts this thing in his face, right there and then, and tells him to go ahead and renege the whole thing, race it, take it off, take the whole thing off,
Mark it 0.
And the moment, at this time being, I'm surprised Donald just like, let's kind of take it in, and the dude, being his own individual, is like, man, do you really have to do this, man? Put the gun away, man. And that's all he's doing. So this interaction of laid back, oh my god, what are you doing, to oh my god, it's an iffy life, to psychotic, these trio literally keep each other afloat. And as we see this happening, he then, after this whole psychotic break, he then explains to the others that how he got his carpet back, what's going on. He's pretty happy about it, So fast forward, he's now inside his house and relaxing carpet, feeling he has the room back together, and 3 faces pop up above him. And they are not who we are used to seeing. And all of a sudden, clack, he gets knocked out. So he then wakes up, figures out this carpet still for, here we are introduced to Maud Lebowski, which is actually going to be the one of the daughters over here. Briefly, when they were introduced, she's very, very just to herself, along with her 2 henchmen, which we'll introduce a little later. So in this organized chaotic chaos, finds out the fact that he's mistaken for Lebowski, which is not the proper Lebowski. Then he's introduced the right Lebowski as he's being introduced to another possible problem, because here we are now in a situation where he has to go back to talk to the original Lebowski because he's unconscious, has no idea who they were, why they stole his carpet, and he's introduced to another problem: Bunny being gone. So Lebowski then, because initially, let's not forget here. I'm sorry, I kind of went over this a little too fast. Someone almost forgot this really important piece of information. When he initially got introduced to the rich Lebowski, he was told to pretty go F off. Just leave, get out of here. I don't want to talk to you ever again. But the tone of Lebowski changed immediately when he was coming back to be, hey, I need your help. Because evidently Bunny was kidnapped, or he said Bunny was kidnapped, and it just needed a lot of help to go ahead and get her back. Well, $1 million, right? Decided to go ahead and reach for this financial money through an institution that this Lebowski made for urban city children earlier that time. And all of a sudden decides to go ahead and take this money out to find it out, and he wants the dude to be the guy to talk to the possible ransomers. Now, out of all this organized chaos, everything that's going on here, Puma, how are we feeling? Where are you at right now, my friend?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we got about 20 more minutes. They've added additional parties in the fact, really great videos. How are you feeling now?
I just love, my favorite part of that whole, like, I'm not sure like where it is in that part, but when Walter's like, you want a toe? I could get you a toe. Like, that's like my favorite thing. With green paint, and I was like,
you
yes,
toe by 3
like,
p.m.
yeah, like, you toe by 3 p.m. I was like, wait, what? Like, hold on. Like, the fact that was just like skimmed over, it's like, all right. But yeah, it's just total, it's total chaos. Like, it's just like this movie, like
a slight pause, Amber. I have to
she's done.
Oh, never mind. Finished, and then I'll tell you some right afterwards. No, you're perfectly good. You're good. You're
okay.
Keep going.
Oh no, just saying it's just total chaos. Like the movie is just like one thing after another. It's a total adventure of chaos. That's all I can really say.
It's okay, no problem. I'm totally sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but Q redeemed some points. So Amber, he said, "You're so punny." Can you, my friend, come up with a pun on the spot right now?
Oh gosh. Okay.
Oh, thank God. It's not me.
Oh, who is it for me?
Yes, it's for you.
Oh. Okay, like what is it? Does it have to just be like a random one, or does it have
it could be any pun, but if it relates to the situation, it'd help a little better. But if not, it's okay.
I'm like, I just had my best one about the I'd be pissed, but
use it again. I was hoping you would.
Let me see. I have to like chug my drink or something if I can't think of one? Oh my gosh.
Or we
Can
can
it
go
be
back
any
if you.
pun?
I can. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, go ahead. Any pun.
Okay. I'm horrible at jokes. I'm trying to remember like any
okay.
pun I can think of in my head. Okay. I don't know.
It's okay. What we'll do, we'll get back to it. It's perfectly okay.
I'm
No
like,
stress at all. No stress at all. Okay.
I got
All
one
right,
for you.
So go for it. Let's hear
that
it.
one? Okay.
I can tell you, I was bowled over with the introduction of his two friends,
Yes.
Donnie and Walter.
There you go. There you go. You saved the day because I'm like,
I love
my
it. I love
gosh.
it. All right.
Yes.
On that note, Waiya. So we got additional 10 minutes of organized chaos going on. He is introduced to additional problem. We see the fact that he's being used for possible money handling, introduction to a possible kidnapped bunny. How are we feeling right now?
Well, I think the most important part of this section of the movie is the introduction of Walter and Donnie, because they are essentially stand-ins for the dude's conscious. If you think of the classic angel and devil on your shoulder, where you have Donnie, who most of the time just wants to bowl, whereas Walter is this manic, hyper aggressive energy that lives inside the dude that kind of doesn't come out, and so he lets them basically lets them untangle the situation he's in. That's why whenever he gets into the next step of the situation, he goes to his two friends and throws it at them and sees what they say. Donnie, for the most part, stays out of it, which the dude should do. It's like, this shouldn't be a part of you. Just bowl, bro. While Walter is like, no, bro, there's a giant conspiracy here and we got to get into this. So that, along with everything else that happens in the introduction of Big Lebowski and Julianne Moore, who was perfect, love her in this, and the fact that this stolen rug leads them deeper into the conspiracy with Bunny being kidnapped and now being made the money man. And Walter, with his, let's not split hairs, psychotic take on the situation, is like, yo, totally kidnapped herself, and this is what we're gonna do. Unfortunately, Walter's a kind of personality that's kind of hard to ignore, and for the dude, he just kind of goes into Donnie mode and goes along with it and says, you know what, I'm gonna go with you on this, and lets him tag along. In fact, lets him go ahead and swap the briefcase on him. So
yeah, we can't exactly at that point, because initially, Amber, you did mention toe things, but technically you don't know the toe quite yet. But
okay.
No, it's okay. No, this is very important. So there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I remember like where that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Movies
so
all over the place.
At this point,
exactly.
we're doing the cash swap. That issue you're talking about, right, Waiya?
Sorry,
I didn't know. That's all good. I got you right in the middle of the fight. Hold on. Yeah. So we're at
oh my god! I just spit everywhere.
No. Food. Every food. I'm Nom Talk. Just out of our mouths is everywhere. But all right. So he redeems some points for hydrate, my friends. So on that note, while you're eating, hydrate, don't dehydrate. Thank you, Q. All right. So looking at comments. Q says, okay. Q says, hey, can you imagine Kenji and I in this movie together? It would not be as good as the Big Lebowski, two nerds over talking about shit without smoking weed.
Hey, speak for yourself, dude.
But on that note, so we understand that as Waiya mentioned before, we actually have Walter, giving more than his 2 cents. In fact, he actually tricks the dude into allowing him to be on the trip himself, joining the car. We see a very mocked up weapon that looks like it's supposed to be a guitar case, but it's wrapped up in duct tape. We find out later that it's an Uzi that shoots off randomly because it's not properly taken care of, and it hits all the bullets off over to the dude's car, which it looks like a piece of crap, but he thinks it's a ridiculous, immaculate vehicle. In this midst of them actually being assigned to do a money handoff with Bunny's kidnappers, they're already told, or actually the dude's told to go by himself. We understand that Walter joins him. unwillingly. Walter then decides to get a plant bag, a fake bag with his unclean undies, and decides to go ahead and take the money bag instead of tossing it over the bridge like instructed with the little phone that they're also given. They do the total opposite. Walter tries to do a dramatic roll. It maybe goes like 5 feet. The bullets fly from the thing, hits the dang car, scares the dude, willingly so, goes off the side of the road, smacks into the side of a post, and is just sitting there as 3 motorbikes take off into the distance. Now, we then find out after all this chaos, he has a conversation back with Walter, and like you said before, his I can't think of the other name. What's his name again? Waiya, please. The second friend.
Donnie.
Donnie. Thank you. Sorry, you said it so well really quick last time. I'm gonna go to you.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
So, but yeah, exactly. I gotta remember that. So we got explanations again with Walter and Donnie going over a situation, trying to figure out that, trying to explain to the dude that Walter saying, hey, she kidnapped, so it's not a big deal. Even you suggested it kidnaps dude. Dude keeps on saying that I didn't suggest it. I said there's a good possibility that she could, and he was trying to emphasize the fact that Walters is taking his 2 cents and making it a lot more bigger than be. You're looking at, Donnie just doing his same thing. Hey, we should just bowl. Also, let's go ahead and figure out when this whole thing. Yeah, exactly. When this competition.
B.I. Lenin.
We are.
I am the walrus.
Lord. So that being said, we got them having this ridiculous conversation again. We are introduced to John Turturro as Jesus. So Jesus, as he goes in and goes bowling, turns out to be really great. Briefly explains Walter. And the funny thing is, we don't know the amount of truth when Walter says this, but Walter says that Jesus is actually a pedophile, and he goes to the street and meeting things and doesn't really show anything other than him going to the street. So once again, very vague explanation, very vague going into that. And then they're also trying to figure out when the dates are happening with the bowling competitions and what's going to happen. And, when it comes to Walter, he's like, I got Shabbos, all about Shabbos. I can't do anything on Saturday. Shabbos. Just going freaking out of this whole concept. So we understand the fact that, extremity, going to the extremes that he cannot do something on Saturday. So this is being emphasized. As the dude's freaking out because right now he's trying to figure out with all the phone calls that are coming him to, trying to ignore. He's like, oh my God, I killed the girl. We probably killed her. Oh my God, we killed Bunny. I have no idea what's going on. I killed Bunny. And he's still ignoring pretty much all these calls. We then find out that the dude's actually forced back to the meeting with the Rich Lebowski dickhead himself and Brandt. Then he confides and actually tells the dude that you must not gave the money, did you? And the dude says, well, I kind of did, man. And he's trying to figure out a proper way to tell the other Lebowski about a situation because he felt as he killed Bunny. But once again, Walter being chaotic, saying, oh no, remember, she probably kidnapped herself. And he's like, wait, no, I didn't say that. I said maybe kidnapped herself. And all this organized chaos. In this dang van, or in this limo, we find out that in this portion that Lebowski is, you know what? It's all your fault, dude. You're the reason why I did it. In fact, I want this on your head. So he hands him a little cloth, opens the cloth, and we see a chopped off toe with the infamous green fingernail paint or toenail paint on there, which looked like what she was doing initially on her toes, right? So now here we are. Here we go in a portion where we then fast forward to a restaurant. Now the dude is talking to Walter saying, hey man, this is what happened. This is a toe. Puma, you famously said, mentioned before, anybody can just get a toe. It's not a big deal.
Get a toe.
So here we are at this moment, right? We find out that the dude possibly screwed up a money transfer, possibly had Bunny even hurt or killed in this situation. We understand that the Rich Lebowski and Brandt are putting pressure on him, saying the fact that you need to fix this. This needs to be taken care of. You need to figure out where her life is in your hands. We have Walter organized chaos going on. Yes, that's okay. She probably did kidnap herself. Let's kill everybody. We got to go ahead and find this money. He is all for anything and everything that's not what's going on right now. That being said, I want to start with you, Kenji. What are you feeling right now with these new revelations at this moment? We find out that the first money handoff was screwed up. How you feeling?
Well, this is the first part where I'm watching it and I'm like, this is 100% something that I would do. Like,
oh yeah,
I would do something where I would because I'm so laid back and I'm so conflict avoidant, I just be like, if I have a wild crazy friend, which I have had, who have said, hey, let's go do this wild crazy thing, which they have suggested, and I just kind of go, okay, which I have done. So like, and not only that, when shit hits the fan, I just try and avoid and avoid and avoid and avoid until life kicks down my door, literally. So I've gotten better. I've gotten better.
That's a plus side. Progress.
But I will. But like in that situation, like it's like this is like such a me thing. But like I also just love like the hilarity of just how it just the case just bounces off of everything to just not go where it's supposed to go. The toe bit, the just everything, and also Waiya, you mentioned how he's like a bootlegger on both, how Brant was a bootlegger on both sides, and I realized like, wow, I realized like Brant's kind of like in a way kind of like the caricature proxy for all of the everyday human being, the person who has to kiss the ass of the person with a lot of money because that's what society says that's what they have to do. That's the person that they need to become. But then you have the dude who doesn't give a flying fuck. And there's also, and like the everyman also going, man, you don't worry about any of this shit? Wow. You know? And like, so there's like that admiration. Like, I didn't even think about the ass kissing that's happening on both sides. Like, wow. But yes. But going back to what's happening so far, I think it's hilarious. Just everything that's been happening up to this point. And ultimately, when you realize what's happening by the end of this, and when you realize what's by the end of the movie, what's been going on, and then you watch it again with the knowledge of what's been going on, it is just absolutely hilarious what's been going on when you think about it, because that means I don't want to give out I mean, we can spoil it, right? I mean, we can talk about this because that means that like literally Peter Stormare literally asked one of the German people, "You need to cut your toes off." There's half a million involved in this. Oh,
I mean,
I mean, technically, I mean, and the mindset we're at right now, because that's a good point, because I did kind of skip over that. I was going to try to save a little later, but we're at this point. We're introduced to Flea. We're introduced to Carl. The third one here is actually going to be also Torsten or Franz. And
Franz,
then
yeah.
we're introduced to the female henchwoman, which I believe is she's actually just called a nihilist woman by actress named Amy Mann. So with that, we then
one of the guys actually says like her name's like Ali thought she was going to get the
one of the nihilists.
Exactly.
So we're actually saying her name, so it's weird. It's like the fact that they just like she has a name, but they just go, "Oh, nihilist woman." It's like, no, she has a name.
Because they do emphasize the fact that Walter is being who he is, so he emphasizes multiple times the fact that these guys are not. Well, no, they're not Nazis. They're nihilists. He keeps on making the reference and switching it around to quickly correct himself.
If she was really a nihilist, she wouldn't care that she got credited or not.
Oh goodness. Sorry, Kenji, didn't mean to interrupt you there, my friend.
I made my point.
No worries. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to actually move over to you, Puma. So once again, we're in this area. We find out that the dude has possibly botched up the first interaction with the money handling. We see the green pinky toe fingernail going on. So it seems to be a decent sized proof that the fact that she is kidnapped. And now that we understand there's been not only a botched up situation, Walter's paranoid. The dude's trying to figure out what's going on. They're at dinner. Walter said, hey, it's a toe. It's just a toe. Anybody can do it. How are you feeling, my friend?
That's probably like literally one of my favorite scenes because it's just like, it just shows how like neurotic and just unhinged Walter is. Like it's like everything else he's done, but then you're like, wow, Walter. Yeah, it's one of my favorite scenes. And is that the scene when there's a coffee shop lady in that scene, Lou Elrod?
Yes.
I love her, by the way. I met her in real life and she's the sweetest lady ever. I met her at Walmart It was the craziest thing. I was like, "Can I take a picture with you?" So I have a picture with her. But yeah, it's just one of my favorite little fun scenes of the movie. I'm like, it's like pretty much the whole movie's just like constant back to back, just like epic little interactions and unhinged. I would probably like summarize this movie as just like complete unhinged like content, nonstop, back to back. That's the only way to explain it to somebody.
I like that.
That's the scene where he ends up where Walter ends up going, I'm not fucking leaving. I'm staying right here.
Exactly. Waiya, my friend, how you're feeling after the first botch attempt? You mentioned it before. In fact, you're a huge forefront with the saying that who Walter is and who Donnie are. How are you feeling at this point of the film, my friend?
At this point, I feel that Donnie and Walter re-emphasize how they are these two opposing viewpoints in the dude's life. Donnie again just wants to get by and have a good time. Meanwhile, Walter wants to interact with the world, but he wants to interact with the world specifically on his terms. I don't work on Saturdays. No, we're going to do this instead. We're going to swap out the money. Oh, you think it's a kidnapping? It absolutely is a kidnapping. And I could do it myself today. I know a guy, it just really reinforces that these are the two opposing forces in the dude's life. And honestly, the only forces in his life, because you don't really meet anyone else that the dude interacts with on any kind of regular basis. It's just his team. His bowling team is his entire social circle. And I think moving forward in the movie, you're going to get much more symbolism with how these characters affect the dude, even post credits, So I love this part of the movie because you get more of Walter, and Walter is just unstoppably entertaining. I can't say enough about that.
Yeah, 1000% correct. I mean, that's I can't, at this point, you guys all hit it the nail on the head. The fact that he has these two, forms of moral suggestions on each shoulder, being one, like you guys said, one not wanting to do much or wanting just to the simplicity of
don't
life.
Get involved.
Exactly, don't do it. You didn't see anything. The crime had, just walk away, whatever. Then Walter being like not only Superman, but being almost that obnoxious concept of creating.
We can profit off of this.
Exactly, 1,000%. So we are then introduced once again, going into the nihilist, going into Franz, the nihilist woman. I wish they gave her a name. But you're going into we get introduced to them again because in this situation before. Let me backpedal here. We also get reintroduced to Mauve again. We find out that Mauve wants to go ahead and meet with the dude, explain the fact that, we believe you're right, or I believe that you're right. She did kidnap herself. She's ridiculous. Don't call her my stepmom. We find out she's very artistic in a sense, doing really, really a whole bunch of nude painting with her two assistants, which I find hilarious because two assistants are ridiculously great actors now. I can't find them on the casting.
Oh, wait, hold on.
You get them?
Hopefully, I have it pulled up.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember their names? Their
there's Carlos Leon was one of them. Mod Thug one, and the other one I keep on.
Like Thug one.
Yeah.
Philip Moon. No, that's Treehorn. Never mind. Hold on. Nope.
Oh, we're gonna have to hit that in a minute here. I don't want to.
Okay, go for it.
But oh my lord, he's usually a huge 90s sci-fi fanatic action hero to me. But we then find out that
yes, I know.
Don't talk about right.
Yes, he was a freaking Professor Lupin in Harry Potter.
Oh, so right? that one there is going to be a Knox Harrington, which is played by David. That is correct. He's amazing too. We get introduced to him technically on like the second or third interaction because her Maud's appearances are like over there. It's kind of crazy. They're excellent. Yes, we cannot forget about him at all. But we then find out essentially that Maud has this curiosity about the dude, and she won't really admit what it is quite yet. But he's
a good man and he's very thorough.
Exactly. But he does mention the doctor visit. Exactly. So we get to the doctor visit, mention that's going on and says, hey, he's very thorough and just what you talking about, and once again, he has this, he has this appointment, and this is also interrupted through bowling scenes, and then trying to figure out when they're actually gonna have the competition. Walter being ridiculously set on not doing anything on a Saturday, even not even doing the heist, even though the heist he created that overdid his head. The dude's at this point scared because not only that, but his car gets stolen. So we find out this car is gone at some point. Being we think that at this time, not only the car's stolen, but we think there's a youth that steals his car. I missed this whole dramatic scene in which Walter and the dude come over thinking that they found out where this guy and his money is, and they go to this kid's house and they go really fanatic, posing as FBI or a government officials, trying to figure out where this money is, and they think that this brand new fire red car in the front happens to belong to the kid because it has a new slip on it. So what does Walter do out there to show the kid what needs to be really made of? He smashes the shit out.
This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
Strangers.
This
is your homework, Larry.
You promise on yourself.
Do you see what happens?
And he keeps going, only to find out that there's a pissed off neighbor across the way that just happened to park. What are you doing to my car? You fuck up my car. I fuck up your car. And he smashes poor dude's car to bits. Hey, what are you doing, man? The whole time. It's just chaos. Chaos to find out that neither of these guys are who they're looking for at all. It's just ridiculous. So we then find out that Mom wants to meet up with dude again. They hook up, and after the hookup scene, dude's gonna go ahead and smoke a joint because we find out that he's also 420 friendly. I mean, we find out throughout the film, film here and there, but he really likes Caucasians, White Russians, anything that's half and half. He's really all about that, that milk life. Not to mention that the fact that we're forgetting about Sam Elliott and the two interactions that actually has inside the bowling alley with in the first place. I mean, we talk about symbolism. To me, and correct me if I'm wrong, by all means, just an opinion, I think Sam Elliott is like the opposite conservative version of the dude, but in a sense, I think he is the guy from the other side of the tracks, and they just seem to complement each other. Even though the dude seems to be confused in it, it seems that Sam Elliott, the stranger, seems to have it together. Something about it. He always admires the dude for who he is, and he seems to be that one conscious person. Like, you okay? Well, go ahead. Waiya, please go ahead.
I think Sam Elliott in this case is a proxy for God. He is the narrator of the movie, and he only shows up when the dude is at this crossroads and he's really trying to come to a decision about what he's going to do. He drops this nugget of wisdom on him, and
twice.
Yeah, and the dude's response is just like, who the fuck are you?
I don't like pause, Waiya. Katie in LA redeemed. Hydrate, my friends. So take a drink. Hydrate, don't hydrate.
Okay.
Do it. You better drink.
Do it.
Kenji, do it. Do it now. Well, tell Katie in LA to get on you, sir.
And he even goes so far as to tell the dude to maybe not curse as much.
No, that is a very valid. I didn't think about him as a god figure, but I like that. Go on, Puma. Sorry, go on.
Sorry to interrupt. So apparently in the movie there's 292 F-bombs. And it's more than The Godfather. There's more F-bombs in the Big Lebowski than there is in Scarface, than there is in Scarface.
No, that is fascinating. Fascinating. Thank you for that.
What's fascinating is someone actually put the time.
Sat there
to count
2
that,
hours.
Right? Jesus Christ.
1 bucks, 2 bucks, 3 bucks,
292.
God, Lord. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Just to keep us on track. To be honest, man, that is an excellent point. I never thought. I don't know why I didn't say thank you for bringing that up, and that brings a lot of that together. Which also why we're still on track here. So at this point, we see technically almost 2 botched situations in which they're trying to get ransom money to a kidnapped person such as Bunny. We see a scene that Bunny's actually away in the car, driving, singing, just bobbing her head and so forth as well. However, we don't see her attached to her boyfriend or the drunk, which we, once again, is going to be the man himself. I want to get the name correct here. Which is going to be Carl, which is Peter Stormare. So we don't see her with him. The camera does this dramatic pan going down to look at her foot and sees her toes intact. So obviously that's, there. And with the combination of seeing the other person's toe chopped off, we're like, okay, cool. Ironically, Walter was right in this situation, but usually he isn't. So we then find out that that she is off and left. We then see the trio of nihilists that meet both the dude, Walter, and Donnie in the front end of the bowling alley. At this point, you see why your comparisons, my friend, have been ridiculously accurate here. You see at this point, Walter being the individual, like, let's go on, well, you guys help us go, let's go. And Donnie going, like, we gotta go, we gotta leave the situation. And the dude being in the middle going, what the hell am I going to do? I mean, we see ridiculous concepts from Flea that's on there, just played hilarious, just being the character who is Hans. Oh my God, these guys are just the little nuances of what they do and how they respond. I mean, you're looking at Hans; he is the ultimate bad guy from Die Hard. We see babyface Hans now going out there and just being in this. Just the trio is just organized chaos. Now, Kenji, I want to start with you. So we are in a fighting scene now with the dude, with Walter and Donnie, and they're talking, I want money. We want money. We find out that they want anything and everything, just like practically changed to feel victory. Where are we at, my friend? How are we feeling now? Is this just following the lines of the chaos we've been having in the film, or is this something new? How are we feeling right now?
This is the scene with the marmot in the bathtub, if I recall.
Well, hold on. So no. So the marmot that I totally skipped over that one. That we told a very important scene with the marmot, him coming in here with Monday Marmot. We're talking about the scene in particular, the beginning where the marmot's already happened about 20 minutes previously. But in this scene, the trio guys are outside with them, wanting to fight them with bars and weapons out in the front of the bowling alley, wanting to beat up Walter, Donnie, and the dude because they want some form of money.
Oh yes,
the kidnappers.
This one.
Yes.
It
leads up to ultimately. We'll go over in a second here. In fact, I'll even put this here because we can't forget this. Leads to the end of Donnie actually having a heart attack. So how are we feeling right here? Yeah.
First of all, I loved this weird, like, I mean, for lack of a better term, I mean, there's got to be a much more PC way of saying this. The Mexican standoff that we end up having in this situation where everyone's like, look, we know you're full of shit. No, we're not. Yes, you are. You're literally, we know you're lying. We know all this stuff. We're still going to kick your ass. Like, I thought that was hilarious. And just the fact that majority of this is like how these guys they were so afraid of literally just being like the entire time not doing anything. Walter just being the beast that he is, throwing the bowling ball, but also, you know, I guess, and because of, you know, like, and how you know, just it is very sad just seeing, you know, like that part of, like, you know, Donnie, you know, also having that heart attack because, you know, that kind of in a way symbolizes, you know, that's, you know, these people are very much the only people that the dude calls family. So, like, the fact that he has, like, this, in a way, that's like a part of him, you know, that's gone, and it's very sad. And of course, it's really weird because it's one of those few moments where you get like a really sweet and like just heartfelt performance from Steve Buscemi that isn't just outright wacky or like some bizarre cameo in an Adam Sandler film. So like it's really great to see him like really doing, you know, like, you know, doing what he does, you know, acting, actually acting, and it's like it's really great. And it's everything up to this point. It's very, you know, sad, but also it leads to a very extremely dark but hilarious moment on the ocean, on the cliff side, with just oh my god. where he goes to toss the ashes and it just goes right in the dude's face. It's just,
and then somehow he brings up Nom again during the whole situation.
He somehow always makes it about himself, regardless of the fact it's like, let me, I know this is really, really awful for you, but like, let me tell you about this awful time that happened to me. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up, all right? Like, this is literally like very much a spotlight on, I mean, it's clearly obvious, like, you know, Walter doesn't see, you know, 3 feet past himself, you know, I mean, you know, he goes and destroys a guy's, you know, sports car, not realizing the consequences of, hey, if I'm wrong, this car behind me is going to get smashed instead. But that's not my car.
My car.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
has nothing to do with him. He doesn't see 3 feet past him, and it's hilarious the chaos that he causes because of it.
No, totally. No, that makes a lot of sense. And Ken, you made up a really excellent point. I'm going to ask you Waiya and Puma as well here. Coming into this here, once again, we won't forget it here into the fight scene. So if I want to touch a little base, but we're getting time here, so I want to make sure we get these involved in your answers. I don't want to miss this in any way, shape, or form. So at this point, we enter the fight. He has a heart attack, and in turn passes away, dies, and then they had the whole cremation scene where Walter and the dude actually have a moment where they both complain about the price because they're receptacles. Even though they have a good friend, they're still complaining it's $180. So they somehow then come to the conclusion of getting in a coffee case and then putting his ashes out there and taking him out there, going in the freaking ocean out there by doing a 20-minute meaningful speech, which actually turned out to be nothing about Donnie at all. Towards the end, at majority of it was all about Walter's experience in Nom, which the dude's like, once again, you always somehow bring Nom coming in here, so it's always crazy. So that being said, the fight scene, we see the would-be kidnappers. Bunny, what's going on? She's not being kidnapped. We found out that even the rich Lebowski is also being not possibly, he is being shady about this, wanting her to disappear and blame somebody else on money because she is hemorrhaging money. That being said, where are we feeling at right now? How are we feeling, my friend Waiya?
Before going too far, because there's a little thing on Donnie I want to talk about. Just
by all means, go ahead, please do.
I'm a film student, so I wrote pages and pages on this movie. A really key detail about this is that just before they go outside in the bowling alley, Donnie is bowling, and it's the first time that he leaves an open frame, i.e., doesn't get a strike or a spare, and he kind of stares at it, and it kind of changes him. And the next scene, he dies. So there's part of that symbolism that his world of bowling has finally been broken because of their interactions. He was distracted, and he's now been pulled into it, and he is literally heartbroken and dies of a heart attack. And then because the loss of Donnie that would balance out Walter's manic behavior, that's when the dude finally loses it with Walter and kind of tells him off. And it's the complete breaking of his bowling family, because without Donnie, there is no team. And then there's no reason for him to spend time with Walter at all. And then from that moment on, you have the dude actually making, taking full agency of his decisions and no longer relying on the input of Donnie and Walter. And his whole character pretty much changes from that moment on in this movie.
100%.
But that being said, thankfully the Nylas kind of get what they got coming to them, because they ended up shooting. One of them gets shot in the foot. Yep. And they drop the gun that they thought shot Donnie, but they kind of are their own worst enemy in this situation. They get chopped off a foot for a toe for $250,000 that they never got, and Bunny, oh god,
it's an accident.
I hate her so much.
There's no way around that.
I don't know if it's just hating the character or my dislike of Tara Reid. Little column A, little column B.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's just attacking the early odds right now.
Wait, hold on. We're gonna stay away from that, the little possible hate there. So we're gonna go to the left here. Puma, how are we feeling at this point of the film? We see the death of Donnie, as Waiya said, very important person to the trifecta of bowlers, being the dude, seems to be a kind of conscious area. We see the duke out with the Nylas. We find out that Bunny is essentially not kidnapped. We find out that the rich dickhead is also aware of the whole situation. How are we feeling towards the end of the film?
I will say, because I know we're a little short on time, I just 1,000, literally the mixture of Kenji's perspective and Waiya was like perfection. Like, makes sense that you're a film student, because I'm like, he's really deep and like profound when he explains stuff. That makes sense. But yeah, the mixture of the two, like I 1,000% agree. Like, it was just like, there's a lot of symbolism. I think that's like the climax of the movie, maybe, perhaps, like, and then there's like the resolution after and stuff like that. So yeah, I 1,000% agree. I second what they say. I can't think of anything to add
it's
to
okay.
that at all. Yeah.
I just want to feel like I'm rushing it all. Fantastic.
It's really good. No, it's
great.
really good. It's
No,
really
and,
good.
and honestly, and you Puma, you said it like poetically. Waiya, Kenji, you guys did somehow unintentionally just created this vine of creative concept and methodic. No, you're right. Seriously, I mean, when it comes,
it was like perfect. Like what am I gonna add to that? It's like,
it's actually funny because we have to. Go on.
Let me do this way because I'm just looking at the screen next to me and I'm trying to fist bump Waiya.
Can you try to do the Waiya fist bump?
yeah.
Oh,
right on.
We'll make
Which
it happen.
I'm glad you guys said that though, because I even told producer Steph, I was like, I felt like I'm watching a fever dream right now. I don't know. I wasn't like, I felt very iffy. And the reason why I gave it like 3.5 of it was because I was like, oh, I'm not too sure. But finally, somebody put in a little more in my perspective, because it's been a while since I've seen the film, even with I rewatched it. But I definitely will. I actually kind of moved mine onto 4 out of 5. So you guys and your 5 out of 5s are.
We'll take that look.
I like
So
that.
we got
I
that.
like that. Now, on that note here, so we're gonna look here in the comments going in here. So let's see here. Cue Ball is going to go ahead and start some mischief later on in the next show. We were gonna have to go ahead and speak in third person, but we were coming towards the end of the show. So we are looking towards the first show with some already fun shenanigans to start it off with. Along with this here, Katie in LA says, it's the Emperor has no clothes moment. Stream Elements, join us in our Discord. Keep the chat going. Katie in LA, I just want my rug, man. It was a very the dude moment. The mergling of concepts. Fantastic. But thanks guys for joining us. We really appreciate you here. Now coming into let's check on something here. So that's all the time we have to talk about today. Shout out to my guests Waiya, Puma, Kenji. You guys are amazing. Always love having you on here. Always appreciate you guys here. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to join in our Discord to keep the conversation going, as well as subscribing to our platforms, all of them at Nom Talk Network. Tune into the next show, which is going to be Basic Binges with Mike Manalo. And we're going to talk about The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2. But before we go, I want to go ahead and re-talk to my 3 guests. Kenji, start off with you, my friend. Where can we reach you on the socials?
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Kenjinator. You can also find me on Twitch at the Kenjinator. And you can also find me on Sundays with doing a Dungeons and Dragons campaign with my father at KDNLA. Yeah, the guy that's in the comments right now, that's my dad. He's the dungeon master. But yeah, we usually do that on Sundays from 1 to 3. Actually, I know we have a few seconds delay, but Dad, are we doing a campaign this Sunday? I'm trying to think. Are we, Dad? Yeah, he'll let us know if we're doing a campaign from 1 to 3 on Sunday or not. But if we are. Otherwise, I think we'll be picking up again in a couple of weeks. So check us out.
Sounds good. Waiya, where can we find you on your socials, my friend?
Well, you can catch me sometimes here on Twitch, gaming some magic, but also you can check out my new YouTube channel at Waiya Paints, where I teach you how to paint stuff like this.
Wait.
Tune in.
Whoa,
that's dope, dude.
That's the biggest flex ever, yo. Good job.
Oh my god, that's badass. My friend. Puma, my friend, where can we meet you on your socials? Sorry to get you mid-drink.
I try to keep it really simple, so you can search PumaDoesCosplay on pretty much any social media platform that I have, actually. But I keep it simple. PumaDoesCosplay, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. I don't use Twitch, but I should. And even my YouTube is PumaDoesCosplay. So yeah, have fun.
Yeah. Right on. Well, you can reach me, guys, at Instagram on IAMCOWIE. Wow, I am Cowie. That's on Instagram.
I'm Cowan.
You can also reach me at Cowie Collector. I don't have the epic paintings such as Waiya, but hey, I'd love those action figures. We won't go into Twitter because I do have a bunch of trash talking. We don't need that right now. But other than that, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate you. And as always, love, peace, chicken grease. Never grow up, never surrender. Bye.